Hi guys, welcome to our Wobble board basics session. All you're going to need today is a non-slip surface. So I've got quite a sturdy mat. Carpet's fantastic, just please don't do this on a wooden floor. Make sure you've got something to grab onto if you need, like a solid wall. And you'll of course need your wobble board. So some of these are slightly less wobbly than others. I have to say I haven't chosen my hardest one today because I want to make sure I can actually do everything that I'm asking you to do. But just make sure that you're feeling okay, and if anything feels too insecure, too wobbly, please hold on to the wall, don't be afraid of it. So we'll start with just safely coming onto the wobble board. If you pop it on that non-slip surface, we'll hop on with first foot, second foot, and we're just going to try and find that centre of gravity. Obviously this is going to feel a little bit more tricky than just standing on 2 feet. So to work out our centre of gravity, and you're welcome to carry on using a wall whilst we're here, we're just going to gently tilt the board forwards, but don't let the board actually touch the floor. We're just tilting forwards as far as we can before the edge of that board comes onto the mat, returning back to the middle, and then we'll tilt backwards again. Don't let the board actually touch the floor, and then coming back to the middle. So we're just gently kind of going north to south if we had a little compass on the board, and trying to keep hips, knees and feet level whilst we go, so minimising any side to side wobble. Now I'd really recommend finding a point on the wall in front of you to look at, although for some reason today that's making me feel more wobbly. Okay, so I'm hoping that the more of these you do, you start to feel a little more stable. If you feel like your ankles are really hurting, or you're finding that your feet are kind of turning inwards and you can't control it, you can have a go at these in trainers, and that sometimes feels a lot more supported. Oh, right, we're going to take that once more forwards and back, and then I want you to kind of end up with your feet just balanced in the middle at that midpoint, which should feel a little bit easier to achieve. Okay, so we've gone north and south, we're going to go east to west, and we're just going to gently, I did that without trying then, tilt to one side, slowly come back to the middle, and then tilting to the other side. So that bend could come from knees. I don't want it to come from hips too much, because what you end up with then is really letting your pelvis twist and nothing much else. Try and keep your pelvis still where it needs to be, and control that wobble with your knees and your ankles. So same as before, we're just really gently coming across to one side, back to the middle, over to the other side, not letting the board touch the floor. You're welcome to hold onto a wall, or you can try and do it without. It's a little bit trickier. If you feel able to, the extra level here is, rather than just going straight side to side, to try and draw a circle with the board. And again, try and control it. Don't let the board touch the floor, because then it's super easy to just do your circle. We want to really try and control with your feet and your knees, coming all the way around to the side. And you can alternate directions just to really, give your brain a challenge. Ooh. There we go. My brain's clicked now, and it's kind of worked out how to do it. You might find that it takes a few goes to get that going, but I'm really feeling this in my glutes, interestingly, and very deep in my core as well. Okay. We'll go last one to each side. Crumbs, this is wobbly. And when you finish up that last one, I want you to just bring yourself back to that nice midpoint where you feel you're equal forwards and backwards and side to side, and your feet are nice and level. This next move is going to keep our feet at that same position, so nice and level, not letting the board move, but we're going to challenge with a little bit of dynamic movement up and down. So we're going to come into some squats. Now, up to you if you want hands by your chest or down by your side, in front, whatever feels most natural. We're going to keep hips, knees and feet all facing forwards. We'll sit your bottom back as if we're sitting onto a chair. And as we come into our squats, it's really important that your feet stay level. So this is the tricky part. So we'll come down as far as we can. Should feel glutes switching on, quads switching on, core switching on. And then we'll push through the feet and come all the way up. So to keep your feet level, we're always thinking about grounding through big toe, little toe and heel all equally, and that's going to become very important when we move on to single leg work in a sec. Really sit that bottom back. What I don't want to see is just a fold forwards. You'll feel it in your lower back and not in your glutes, so really sit that bottom back, and that's where you're switching on the glutes. Ooh, and challenging that wobble. I feel like I should have cheated a bit and chalked up my wobble board so I looked super stable for this video. Oh, right. Those of you who've been practicing these for a while, you can have a go at making it a bit harder by actually placing a headlock on top of the board. I'm deciding whether to demonstrate or if I'll look like a complete loony, but same principle here. Oh, that is so wobbly. I'm too tall for the camera, look. And then you can attempt your squat. But you can see my feet going like crazy. It's much harder, but there's that option if you wish to go a little bit crazy with your squats. We're taking 2 more, hoping you're keeping going. Last one. And once you've done that last one, you can step off the board, shake off those little ankles. They're probably feeling a little bit sorry for themselves. Well done. When you've had a break, we're going to hop straight back on. So again, feet coming either side of that board, facing forwards, and so are your knees, your hips, your feet. We're nice and tall, finding a spot on the wall in front. Now we've challenged up and down. We're going to challenge with a rotational movement, which is just going to throw you off balance a little bit more. So we'll start with hands out in front of us. Oh crumbs, this is wobbly. We're going to take your elbow down by your rib cage, follow it by your pinky finger, almost like you're drawing a bow and arrow. And as that pinky finger comes by your rib cage, keep your hips facing forwards, and we're going to try and twist your torso towards the elbow. Look behind you if you can manage, and then try and come all the way back to the front. It's so wobbly today. We're alternating between sides. Try and keep a soft bend at the knees. That is going to help to keep you steady. It's the taking the head behind you that makes it so tricky, because you can't use that focus point on the wall. Goodness me. Okay, keeping those knees bent for me. Thinking about what's engaging here, it should be quite deep in your core that's working to stop you from just collapsing and rolling towards that arm you're aiming to. So try really hard to keep everything below the waist facing forwards. And if you're finding this super easy, I want you to try it with your eyes shut, but only if you're not next to any expensive technology, okay? Don't do this if you're next to your television. I will not accept any responsibility. Oh. Okay, should be really working your ankles and your calves as well as everything else. Remember to breathe. There's a lot of work going on in your core, and sometimes we compensate for that by just not breathing, which is never very good for us. Okay, making this one your last one, or you can do an extra one if you need to even up. Bring yourself back to the front, and you can come and step off your board. Give those ankles a shake. Really, really good. So you can see how trying to do that rotation does make a really big difference to your ability to stay still, and especially when we've got scoliosis, maybe we're already rotated slightly in one direction, and we're going to just explore that a little bit further. We'll go back on with 2 feet, and rather than twisting to the side, we're going to try a side bend. So what you might find if you do have a curve in your back is one side feels quite easy, quite mobile, other side, don't get anything out of it. That's fine. So bring hands to your sides. Oh my goodness. Okay. Try and get those feet level. Remember what I said about big toe, little toe and heel? Take a second, soft knees. We're going to take your hand down the seam of your trousers. So again, everything waist down is staying still. Your upper body is going to come into a side bend. Oh, I find this so hard. And when you've reached as far as you can go, we'll come all the way back up to the top and bend to the other side. I suggest that you don't look at me as your focus point here because I'm all over the place. Pick something that's super still. Oh my goodness. Okay, so for me, my curve used to go this way, so I find that I'm really mobile down here and really not on the other side. If that's the case, really doesn't matter. What we're challenging here is your pelvic stability, your ankle stability. All I'm trying to do is throw your ankles up, as I'm sure you can feel. So don't worry if you can go really far on one side and the other side's moving an inch. It's still going to be really wobbly. Try and keep those hips still. So I want you to imagine that everything below the waist is frozen. And we're almost smushed in between two panes of glass in front and behind. So we can't rotate either. We've got to stay facing completely forwards this whole time. Oh, this is tough. Okay, last one to each side because I find these so hard. Well done. And straightening back up, you can come off of the board, shake off your little ankles if you need. Really, really well done. So I hope you're feeling that a little bit through the waist. Now, I mentioned that we were going to come on to some single leg work. So this is what we're going to have a crack at. It's really important with single legs that you have got a wall near you if you need. Completely up to you. You're always welcome to kind of hover your fingers next to it so you can catch yourself if you should need to. We're going to bring one foot on top of the board. And again, thinking about big toe, little toe and heel is really important. Second foot is just going to take a step back, so you're up on your tippy toes, and we're going to have nice soft knees to start. Now again, up to you if you want to hold on the wall, on your hips, up by your chest. Find a focus point in front of you that's still. Now we're going to think about those 3 points under the front foot. We're going to shift your body weight forwards over the board. So that should already fire up your ankle and get your quads working a little bit. Now we're going to push through those quads at the front of your thigh and extend that front leg. And as we do, that back leg's going to peel all the way through, coming into a knee lift. We'll hold steady. And then we slowly start to bring that foot behind, bending the front knee, and we'll find the floor with your tiptoes. And you can straighten back up. Oh, I lost it at the end there. Good, so you can see how that dynamic movement is really, really challenging for knees and ankles on that front leg. So let's go again. Shifting that weight to the front foot, grounding through those 3 points underneath your foot, pushing up, coming into your knee lift, holding, chest is tall, hips facing forwards, and slowly keep that chest position, bending the front leg, finding the floor with your tippy toes, and coming back. Good. So keep going with those. If you want to make it harder, you can start in a slightly deeper lunge. And that means that you're going to have to really find the floor as you step that foot backwards. Ooh, this is getting wobbly. So your core is doing a lot of work here. Think about what muscles are working. Whoop. Think about how we're keeping everything above the waist still this time, and everything below the waist really working. Okay, hopefully that front ankle's getting a little bit knackered. I'm going to take one more on this side, pushing all the way up, hold. Make sure you complete the movement, find the floor with your tiptoes, and then you can stand up. Shake off that little ankle, start starts to get really quite sore. And we're going to go for the other side. This is the last thing we're doing on these wobble boards today. So give it your all. Really think about the balance. Think about what muscles are working that maybe you didn't expect to, quite deep in your core. We're switching which foot's in front. Again, thinking big toe, little toe and heel. Nice soft knee on that front leg. Back leg is taking a step back, so we're on tiptoes. Up to you where hands are. Find a point on the wall that you can focus on. This is my weaker leg, see? We are going to shift the weight forwards. Feel your ankle switch on, feel your quad switch on, maybe your glutes as well. Pushing up through that front leg, bringing the back leg all the way through into a high knee lift, holding, slowly returning that leg back down. Find the floor with your tiptoes, come back to your lunge. Good. Like we said before, keep that chest tall. If you want to make it harder, try taking a deeper lunge as your start position. Really, really control this. This is a tough one to kind of get your head around. Control is key. Think about those 3 points under the front foot. I mean, the breakthrough for me is staring at the blank wall in front of me. It's really helping. Sorry I'm not giving you guys much attention today. Again, remember to breathe. It's hard. Okay, make sure you're grounding through the whole of that front foot, really using your quads to lift, controlling that lower. Got 2 more to do. Pushing up, hold, and coming back. Last one. Okay, well done. Hopefully getting a really good ache through that ankle. Finish the move, stand yourself up. You can shake off that foot. And the last thing we're going to do is a stretch for the back of your ankle. So we're going to put whichever foot is hurting more, so that the ball of your foot is in the centre of the board, heels coming down towards the floor. Now you might already feel a stretch down the back of the leg. If not, bring your other foot in line with the board or even over the top of the board, and you really should start to feel something then. Oh, really well done for those guys. So you can see how tiny adjustments or tiny movements make a huge difference when we're on such an unsteady surface. Keep practicing those. Keep thinking about what muscles are switching on. This is such a fantastic way to trigger your deep, deep core stabilizers subconsciously, and that's fantastic for building a really strong foundation of support for your spine. So I always love doing balance stuff with fusions and with scoliosis as well. Let's switch those legs over. But yeah, it takes a lot of practice to kind of get it into your muscle memory, so keep at it. And I'll have a think about some trickier exercises. I'll put up something more advanced in the future so that you can build up to it and then have a go. Maybe involve some arms flailing over your head in a different direction to what your legs are doing and try and offset you. Lots to look forward to. Okay, so hopefully that back of the leg's feeling a little bit more relaxed. If you need to hold it for longer, please do. Otherwise we're stepping off. Hopefully feeling okay. And we're all done, so really, really well done. I hope I will see you back soon and I hope you enjoyed having a go with your wobble board.